How's it going, everybody? My name is Warner Fields with Fields of Profit, and today I'm with my friend Jomar, who is a pretty big wholesale seller. I know lots of you guys wanting to get into the wholesale space recently. So I brought Jomar on. We're going to be having a conversation about how he's built his wholesale business, but I'll just let you take the floor. If you want to kind of briefly introduce yourself and maybe, give a brief explanation of what you do, we can kind of go from there.
Sounds good. Mr. Fields, thank you so much for having me here. It's pretty cool to be here. It's an honor. I remember seeing your YouTube channel, just doing some YouTube searches. So it's pretty cool to actually be on your channel. But my name is Jomar, and I've been selling on Amazon since 2017, August 2017. Started with retail and online arbitrage. Did that pretty much all the way through until around 6 or 7 months in. And then I started the transition into wholesale around April or May of 2018. And I quit my job and went full time. Today, I work with about 3 or 4 suppliers. I work very closely with them. And I did around 2 million in revenue and sales just last year in 2022, selling wholesale products. And still some RA here and there, but wholesale is probably 90% of my business.
That's awesome. Yeah. So for any of you guys who are true beginners, basically that's reaching out to distributors, brands, trying to get as close to the source as possible and flipping it on Amazon. It's a pretty scalable model as well. I am curious, why are you still dabbling with RA a little bit? Just kind of fun on the side?
Yeah. No. So, I mean, with RA, it's really cool because you come across all of these obscure products in different places. But I mean, in a nutshell, there are certain stores that kind of carry the same products that I know that they'll always have those, and it'll be like 10 or 20 units, but it's cool to just pop in there and grab them and still make money off of the same stuff. I firmly believe in just because you elevate and graduate to a higher level, remember where you came from. So a part of that is, that's part of the reason why I still kind of go back. And if it makes money, it makes money. So, I'll do it for as long as I can.
Yeah, I like that. Going out to the store, picking up, just hustling, right? I think we've also talked a little bit. You're still doing a lot of this stuff in-house, like just putting in the work. Like it's what it's all about. Yeah. You see the guys on Instagram like, oh, check out my Lambo. I don't do any work. That's not the reality.
Right.
So how did you, talking about way back in 2017, I started in 2018. I feel like that makes us like the dinosaurs of Amazon a little bit with all the new guys rolling around. Way back in 2017, like how did you get into Amazon? Like what stuck out to you that it would be a better opportunity than like some other things you could do?
Yeah, so I graduated college in 2015, and somewhere I was doing a sales job, and a lot of it is just cold calling and being on the phone and making connections. So I kind of had the background with that led me into wholesale. But essentially, I was just super curious about how to make money online, how to become not really your own boss or anything, but how do you just generate online? And I dabbled with things like eBay, OfferUp, those kind of websites where you meet up with them. And
I tried my hand at eBay drop shipping back in the day. We all tried a couple things, right?
Exactly. Affiliate marketing. And long story short, I was scrolling through Facebook, and I came across a 3-day seminar from a guy named Adam Ginsberg, and his company is called Internet Mastery, and they're just a coaching and software company. He has a big background in eBay, and he transitioned to Amazon. But I went to his 3-day seminar, and I was all in. I was just super about it, but I just loved the fact that you can use the data, you scan something, and then it helps you make a buying decision right then and there. So it was just easy for proof of concept and things like that. So I was just all in, and it was just fun. So
yeah. I mean, that's part of it, right? You just got to enjoy it at some point. Like tried a couple other things that make money, but like kind of sucks, right? Like you got to find something that's fun. So how did you go from, taking that quick little 3-day class, learning the basics, how long did it take you to find that first distributor?
Yeah. So how long it took me? I mean, I went to ASD in 2018, spring of 2018. That was my very first ASD. I actually haven't been to ASD, and I'm dying to go back. But I haven't gone back because I've been working with one of those distributors that I met then and there since then, and we're super tight. We have a great relationship today. But that was pretty much my first distributor when I went to ASD. Sure. And the funny thing is that I had to fly to Vegas to meet him, even though we're in the same city. It was ironic. Had to fly I don't know how many miles, but essentially meeting with him and working with him led me to the other wholesalers in the area, and one wholesaler became a second wholesaler and third wholesaler and everything like that. Pretty much just working with wholesalers in that area, which made life easy. And I do work with one out of state currently as well.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome that that's the beauty of wholesale, right? Is you make that one connection and boom, hopefully you got a business for years to come, right? That's super cool. Yeah. So for you, it was, going out to trade shows and get your name out there. I know there's the question on everyone's mind at this point is, how do I find that first distributor? What would you recommend?
Yeah, so I would I'm very big on local. Like I'm a local guy. I'm like work from within. And what I mean by that is work within your surroundings, right? Like look for all of the wholesale suppliers in your area first before you branch out to, the next city or the next state. See who's next door, see who's down the block, see who's, 20 minutes from you, and make those connections first, because when you work from within your community, it's probably more impactful and more efficient, and you can see results more speedily than going outwards first. So it's not to say to not go outwards, because there's plenty of wholesalers everywhere, but look within your community first. Look for the trucks when you're driving, the wholesale, the ones that have their name and address and phone numbers on them, all those kind of things, right? Look from within. So that's pretty much my favorite strategy in terms of starting wholesale.
Yeah, that's cool. We're trying to get more and more into wholesale, and we're doing the same thing right now, just looking at distributors just near our warehouse. Because, you get a lot of efficiency just from being like, hey, can we get, a pallet of this? You drive down the street and you go get it, right?
Yeah, they just have it ready for you. You pick it up and then you can place another order, work on the next sourcing product, and
yeah, exactly. So how did you, you go to the trade show, you talk to a couple guys. How did you know that first distributor was actually going to be a good distributor for you? Because it's not too hard to go out there and open distributor accounts, but a lot of them are bad. So what was sticking out to you to know that it was going to be something worth pursuing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, when I went to ASD, I didn't just open that one account. I actually opened around 3 or 4 accounts, and I'm in New York City, and one of those accounts was in California. Another one was somewhere in the West Coast. They were like a toy electronic supplier. And, slowly but surely, they were all good in the start, but slowly but surely, it was kind of like an elimination process and survival of the fittest type of thing. But I just continued to source from them. I continued to check his warehouse out, check his products out. Like I said, he's locally located for me, and I just kept going over there, building that connection with him, placing test orders, trial and error, right? You buy 10 products, maybe 2 of them are duds, and you just keep rolling and rolling. Eventually, though, we got very close as a business relationship, and he just started to extend more products to me and say, hey, I can get this for you. Or I'm even just saying, oh, can you get this kind of products? Are you into selling these kind of products? These are some products that sell good on Amazon that the other wholesaler has, and just kind of educating him from that viewpoint. But just consistency, trial and error, and emphasis on building that relationship, right? Kind of like how you do with a best friend or with a parent, just always communicating with them and showing that effort, right? Showing that you care to work with them and things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess making a good distributor is being willing to, hey, I want this product. Can you see what we can do to get it? Working with you on pricing, like being able to actually get it in stock. Like there's a lot of different stuff to look at, but that's good insight there. So, within that, you're talking about how, your wholesalers reaching out to you saying, hey, we got this. I assume there's been a value exchange of some kind there. So how are you adding value back to them in their business?
Yeah, sure. So when you go to wholesalers, like they'll have hundreds of products, right? But the reality is that most of them aren't going to be profitable buys. Most of them are not going to be on Amazon. And then you'll buy the ones that are and that are profitable and meet all your criteria. But one of my favorite ways to add value to my supplier that has been able to help me and grow my relationship with them is actually creating listings from the products that they have, but are not listed on Amazon, right? So if I see, based off of my experience and different products that I've sold, that a product has potential to sell, I'll go about and create the listing. And that's a whole other process and conversation itself, right? But once you get the experience and learn how to do that, now you're building up the catalog that you have with them. Now you can reorder more products from them. Yeah, so from that perspective and that lens, I'm just like, okay, how do I add value? I'm gonna try to list everything that they have, or as much products that I can, and grow that way too, right? So it's not just what they have and what's on Amazon and the easy stuff, right? Like do the hard stuff too. Try to list some stuff, bring some value to the marketplace. You'll make a lot more money doing that too, because a lot of the times when you're creating listings, you're probably one of the few sellers that has access to those products. And yeah, eventually other sellers catch up and list it too, just like everything else, but it doesn't make it unprofitable, right? So it's about growing your catalog as a wholesaler. So that's probably one of the biggest things.
Have you ever thought about, when you're creating those product listings, have you ever thought about like bundling it with your brand of something so that you can control that?
I would love to do that. And that's a very intricate process.
Yeah.
Definitely. But you see a lot of listings these days where people are creating name brand listings with their brand on it. And that's kind of something I want to get into. I have thought about it, but now maybe I should think about it a little bit more.
It's one of those things where that's a great idea, but I've also got this, and this is also a great opportunity. So,
right. What you're seeing now is like, let's say I make a listing for this brush and it's a big name brand, national brand, but then I'm adding a keychain of my own brand. It's like silly stuff that you're seeing there, but that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm also just genuinely curious on this. When you're going to go create a new listing form, like how many units are you buying?
As little as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll be transparent too with the supplier. Say, hey, this listing isn't on Amazon yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my office. I'm going to try and create the listing and get it going. And I'm transparent about it being kind of a slow process. It's not an overnight thing, but they don't really care at that point because you're placing big orders with them. My supplier is actually very cool about it. He's like, yeah, just go ahead, take it. He'll even just give me the sample for me to just go back and do whatever I need to do with it, take pictures and all of that kind of stuff. So it's a slow burn that pays off long run for sure, and helps to build that catalog as a wholesaler.
Yeah, it just helps you stand out, like especially in a crowd of people being like, hey, do you want to sell to me? I'm an Amazon seller, and then they open the account and never buy anything, and you're going out there and you're saying, hey, like we can see what we can make happen here. Maybe we can do something awesome later on. This listing pops off or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess kind of another segue into another super common question. Hey, you're getting on the phone like trying to get that distributor connection. We don't sell to Amazon sellers. What are you telling them at that point?
I would probably, and that's a great question. The reality is I've never had that kind of objection, but I would probably figure out why, try to ask them, okay, what happened in the past that you're no longer looking to work with Amazon sellers? And then you get that answer and you kind of say, hey, okay, we don't do business like this. We understand that you're running a business too, and something that will harm your business and your bottom line is not something that we're looking to do. Just establish yourself, right? Like we've been in business for X amount of years and we know how to do business the right way. And if we make a mistake, that's on us and we won't come back to you. A big thing that wholesalers hate is that a buyer would try to return something that they messed up on. And it's cool, like with RA and OA, right? You can return something and correct your mistake that way, but not so much with wholesale. And that's kind of the difference maker there. The reality is that they're also in business just like us. They're small businesses or medium-sized businesses, family businesses, that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff is just a waste of their time. So really figure out what the issue is with them or what the experience was that they went through, and then let them know that you'll avoid all of those kind of issues is what I would say, because I've never.
Sure. Yeah. We run into that one a good amount. It's just like, it's just addressing fears, right? Like, we'll respect map pricing. So if they say, hey, the price has to be here or above, like, hey, we abide by that. We're not like the, Amazon sellers who break it. Running like limited PPC if they got the budget for it, all that kind of stuff.
Have you experienced that with brands, like direct to brands?
Yeah. So we've done more brand direct wholesale in the past, which is, I would say, harder to convince them to, start working with you. And a lot of times they're just tired of dealing with, the Amazon seller who wants to place $1,000 order. And you can come in and say, hey, we'll run some limited PPC. Like we'll place X dollar PO. Like it depends on the brand. It can be risky if you're saying, hey, we'll place $5,000. Like that's our smallest client. So I don't love that one as much. Or you come in and say, hey, we want this specific product. We think we can take 500 units of it right now, or, stuff like that. And just like you're talking about, it's really just adding value, showing that you're like a serious seller and not, you're just not I'm an Amazon seller. You're my first wholesale account kind of thing. You just don't want to get off that vibe, right?
Exactly. No red flag questions. I honestly only have one brand account, and they didn't even ask me what I do or where I sell it or anything. They just, give me your money and go. Like they, So if you're lucky, that can happen. But in other times, you'll have to have that pitch ready to go and be on your best game. So for sure.
Awesome. So we talked about it a little bit, but do you have a team? You got any virtual assistants, anything like that, or what's it looking like there?
I don't have a team currently. I actually have, like, in terms of prep, I've hired my younger cousins. They're like they're in college now, and one of them is like a senior in high school, and they've helped me prep throughout their breaks and weekends and things like that. And that's been a huge help. I don't have any VAs, but I'm actually looking to implement that into the business and have them just open wholesale accounts and source through catalogs and that kind of stuff. I actually am really looking to do that, because because I've done everything on my own. So as of now, I've been pretty much a one-man band. Aside from more recently, I'm working with one wholesaler that's doing some prep and shipping directly to Amazon. So
Ooh, yeah, those are awesome. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. You know, I've been pretty stubborn. I'll be quite frankly about it. Been very stubborn about it because I'm a control freak, and you know, sometimes errors can happen. But when you're really trying to grow, it's time to kind of get things out of your hands and push it on to somebody that can do it. So
Yeah, I mean, 2 million more or less by yourself is nothing to be ashamed of, for sure. Yeah. That's awesome. So when you're talking about bringing on some team members, that kind of stuff, what are your goals for this year?
My goals for this year is to kind of just establish all of the listings that I have. At this point, I'm pretty happy with the amount of SKUs that I have. I have, give or take, around 50 or 60. I've always made it a goal to get to 100 listings, just because no real reason, just that 100 was like, oh, 100 listings. But the idea is that if I have 100 listings, I have 100 ways to make money. And that's kind of just a way that I conceptualized it. But I am interested in getting into the PL game with one grocery product, and hopefully I can come back and later on and advertise it. You know, this is the brand, this is the product. But essentially, you know, you start to get ideas when you're selling all these different products, right? You're like, oh, this kind of product sells amazing. Like, what if I had my own? So I'm looking to get into PL for that. Looking to kind of optimize the prep, because that's been a big time sink for me. And some of the VA stuff, like you guys really, Miles, and all of the guys out there in social media encouraged me to really leverage the VAs into the business. So
especially with sourcing, like I bet you could use 2 or 3 like right out of the bat.
Yeah, man. Like I have a supplier with a huge catalog, like 100 something pages, and I still haven't gone through it. So
yeah, that's definitely a good like virtual assistant task. Looking through those gigantic price sheets, like I can't look at 20,000 products.
And that's what you have them do with OA, right? Like you just have them source through products and kind of the good ones based on criteria and everything. So
yeah, looking manual sourcing on different sites, doing basically the same thing you're doing when you're looking through a wholesale catalog. Just the same thing I'm doing when I look at OA. Just teach them your methodology, and you know that's the beauty of being a business owner, right? Is you can get rid of that a little bit.
Very admirable, for sure.
Yeah. Getting a little more philosophical with you. What motivates you to keep pushing? Like, what are you working so hard for?
Yeah. Oh, great question, man. I mean, I would say it's my family, my background. You know, my parents migrated here in the late 80s from the Dominican Republic, and they've always been hardworking, working class people, you know, blue collar, hands-on. And the only thing is, as much as that's great, they never really had the resources that we have today, right? Like the internet, making money online. They just put their bodies on the line. And me and my siblings have seen them put in so much work just to provide for us. And right now I'm just trying to leave a legacy. You know, I'm the first one in my family that was able to buy a house, and first one to graduate college, and then my sister followed and did the same. So it's really just making my parents proud, you know, showing them that they didn't sacrifice their life to come over here and to have us, my siblings, for no reason, that we didn't end up as some statistics. I grew up in urban inner city crime and all of that good stuff. So just to make it out of that is probably my biggest why. You know, and I wake up every day just feeling blessed and happy and grateful that I make money online 24/7 pretty much. So it's unprecedented in my family. So, and that's probably my biggest why, to encourage everybody that has come from a similar background.
That's awesome. Major congratulations, right? Like that's the American dream. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, hands down. Down, man.
Sure. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's all out there, man. We just gotta, you know, if you have to want it and you have to get it. And getting it is the hard part. You got to put in the work.
Yeah. So wrapping us up here, if you're starting all over again, the guy or girl watching late into the video, what should they do this week to get their wholesale business really rolling?
If you're starting now, I mean, I would say consume as much content as possible on just basics, just opening accounts. And if you're very eager about opening accounts, like I said in the beginning of the video, look inward, right? Look in your community. The biggest impact that you can do to your business is going to be around you. You know, connect with all of the suppliers that are closest to you, open all of those accounts, and then go from there, you know, go outward from there. So start within and then go out, start getting into wholesale, open as many accounts as possible, and then get to sourcing. It's the same thing when it comes to sourcing. Use the same criteria that you do with RA and OA, just now into wholesale. So
yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for hopping on the channel with us. If they want to go, I know you've been starting to make YouTube videos, sharing some content, value with the community. If they want to go learn more from you, where can they go?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it. Again, it was great being here, chatting it up with you. My Instagram is Amazon Hustle NYC, and my YouTube is E-commerce and Business Credit Strategies.
We'll get that link down below as well. Yeah, there'll be links down below. You guys can go check it out.
Yeah, I have a pretty long YouTube name, but pretty much my YouTube is gonna be more focused on business credit because I'm very passionate and enthusiastic about business credit and some Amazon, but more so business credit. So if you're into that, I would appreciate you guys check me out and follow.
Yeah, that's awesome. Go drop follows, sub to Jomar's content, all that good stuff. Really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you're 20 something minutes in, appreciate you guys. Feel free to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm for coming on, sharing some value with you guys. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to drop those down below. I'm sure Jomar would also be happy to answer questions. If you shoot him a DM on Twitter, that kind of stuff, more than, go ask away there. Really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will see you next time.